What's up today, guys? Today we're going to be building a couple hard lines from the fuel pressure regulator to the carburetor and the fuel pressure regulator to a filter. And then from the filter, we're going to connect into the hard line coming out of the frame rail from the fuel tank. That's what we got going on today. We're going to get to it. All right, guys. I've already had the fuel pressure regulator mounted to the firewall. So all I've got left to do is build a line coming out of the regulator. We're gonna hook it right into the carburetor. Should be pretty simple. We're just gonna do a couple, like probably 3 90-degree bends. Everything else will be pretty flat so we can get the air cleaner and everything on. And then we've got to build a small line to our filter so it's easy to access if we ever have to change it. And then from that filter, we're gonna build a line down to the frame rail hard line and connect it using this male-male connection. Basically, I'll just be using a couple templates I've had pre-made. We can just connect into our -6 fitting on the carburetor, kind of set it up how we need. I've got another 90 I can connect out of the fuel pressure regulator, take my measurements I need, bend it all up. How I'll be setting the hard lines with an AN fitting is I'll be using the Eastwood flaring tool. I bought the 37-degree flaring dies, and basically this is what it comes out with. So how this works is you drop your die, hopefully don't break it. So I'm not actually gonna flare it too hard. We'll just put one in, tighten it down just to snug it. Operation 0 sets the depth. Tighten it up, then you will switch it to operation 1 3/8, which I haven't chamfered this, so it may not turn out the best. Sorry, guys. Hard to do this one-handed. Go to operation 2 3/8, and this is aluminum line, so you don't want to gorilla torque it, otherwise it'll be too big of a flare, won't fit in your fittings. And that's what we come up with. It's not the best because I didn't chamfer any of it. I didn't chamfer the insides, didn't chamfer the outsides. That one's quite a bit better. And I will be using some tube sleeves and tube nuts just from Jegs. So pretty simple setup. I'm set my little templates up and then start taking some measurements. And then I will bend and flare the line. So basically, I put my 2 90s in, one coming off the firewall, one coming out of the carburetor. Just gonna make sure they're kind of level. And that one's kind of level with the firewall pointing down. And next what I'm going to do is measure from the center of the firewall to the center of the one coming out of the carburetor, and that gives me a 7 1/4. So I need the end of my bend on this line, the one I'm going to build that's going to be longer, it has to be at 7 1/4, so it's going to line up correctly here. And once I get that done, I can pull this line out, put it straight in, measure where I need it to be from the center of this line to the center of my straight. So that way I know where that bend needs to be, and then I can just cut off the end once I get it there where I need to flare it. So I'm gonna get that knocked out real quick. This one's gotta be 7 1/4. I'll measure the other one. I'll get it bent up, and then we'll get it flared. All right, guys, this is what I've came up with. As you can see, I use the tape. This is where my bend started. So that way it will end up at 7 1/4 from the center of this line to the center of this line. All right, we'll test fit it now, see how it fits. I'm just gonna lightly tighten up the one to the carburetor. Then I will start tightening the fuel pressure regulator side. This is what we end up with. I just made it flat through here, so that way my air cleaner will set down on the base, not contact it. I can tighten it up there. All right, guys. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to build just a female as short as my die will allow me, so we can connect into here. We'll put our filter on, and then we can build our line that connects us to the frame rail. So I'm gonna get that built real quick and I'll be right back. All right, guys, the shortest I was able to build was 3 1/4 inches, and that is whenever it is locked out to locked out. So basically we're just gonna thread that onto the regulator. Just kind of finger as tight as we can get it with our fingers. Then we will be using a Russell, I think it is a 40 micron, just male filter. Which we have the Corvette filter regulator on the frame rail. This just a little extra insurance. We'll get it about as finger tight as we can. There we go. All right, so our next line is gonna have to be a female as well, which that's all I can build. We're just gonna go straight down. I'll use, basically I'll just put a piece of straight on there and then use a protractor to figure out which angle I need to bend it at. And we'll get it bent, measured, and flared. All right, guys, so this is what I came up with. Straight all the way down, then it's roughly a 30-degree bend to connect into the frame rail. So I'll just go into our male bulkhead, just slightly tighten it up, get my filter, and then get it tightened up, kind of center it up. Make sure you don't ruin your threads. There we go. Then I can center that up the way I need it. Get it away from the header, which I've got some, I think it's DEI, something like that. Shrink that we can go around it with. Protect it from getting vapor lock. So that's what we ended up with for the day. It's got a aluminum hard line coming from our carburetor to our fuel pressure regulator. Fuel pressure regulator down to a filter. From the filter down to our frame rail, connected by a male fitting. We're -6 all the way from the tank to the carburetor. We only have about 2 foot of flex line coming from the tank to the frame rail that connects into the Corvette filter regulator. So we're hardlined all the way, so we shouldn't have any leaks, hopefully. But I changed up my fuel system a little bit, ran it down the passenger side frame rail so we could have a little cleaner look. We'll be building some transmission cooler lines in the near future. I'll be using -6 bulkheads to go from the cooler through the frame rail, and then we'll connect it, well, from the transmission through the frame rail to the cooler. And we'll connect it with all hard lines. This is just a vacuum line there, flex. It's actually -6 as well. But that's what we ended up with today, guys. Hope you liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one.